Hello class, we're taking on a new teaching unit today and it's going to be naming compounds. And we've broken up into three different sections. One today we're going to talk about the crisscross rule, fairly simplistic type of way in which you can get the correct number of oxidation numbers in the subscript. So it's fairly easy, but it's kind of the first step in learning how to name the compound. So let's get started today. There's some basic rules. First of all, you have to find the periodic table to find oxidation numbers for each of the elements. And it's a special kind of periodic table. It has just the ionic numbers. Also, you'll need to write the elements in a particular order. First of all, the cation, the positive charge element goes first, followed by, of course, the anion. And then what we'll do is we'll crisscross those numbers. If it's, let's say it's a +2 on the cation and a -2 on the anion, they'll cross and put the subscripts in the right order and in the right amounts. And then you don't need to write 1 as a subscript ever. So if it has a 1, let's say a -1, and you crisscross it, it goes down to the cation side, you don't call that anything but you just leave it alone. There's no 1 on it or anything else. And then the anion, we replace the last 3 letters with IDE. So let's show you how that works. Here are 2 examples. We'll take the first one, lithium bromide, and they both have, if we look at the chart, they both have, well, lithium has a +1, bromide has a -1. So lithium wants to give up an electron, wants to give it away, whereas bromide wants to take in one. So what we'll do is crisscross them. And in this case, the 1 would go over here, and this one would go over here. So it would look like the following. And notice we didn't put the 1 there because you don't need to do that. And this compound is called lithium bromide, IDE. So let's do another one. And this is going to be calcium chloride. And we crisscross to get the superscripts down to the correct order on the subscripts. Oops, that goes 1, and this goes 2. So when it's all said and done, we have a compound that has obviously like 1 calcium and 2 chlorines, and the name of it would be calcium chloride. Calcium chloride. So, a couple of other things I need to remind you of. If you take a look at this chart, this is another periodic table, and it has 3 types of bonds listed. It has an ionic bond, which is a metal element plus a non-metal element. When they combine, they make an ionic bond. And then we have 2 nonmetals. When 2 nonmetals combine, we have a covalent bond. They like to share their electrons. And then we have a metallic type. When metal goes to onto metal, when the 2 form a compound together, it's called a metallic bond. And another way to look at this as well is kind of depending on the relationship. Like, for instance, all of these on this side, these are nonmetals. When we go over here on this side, these are all of our metals. And this will get the position on this particular periodic chart will help us determine what kind of bond it is. So kind of keep that in mind. And we've talked a little bit about electronegativity. If you look right here, these are electronegativity numbers. So when, for instance, these kinds of things combine, they're going to give you a certain electronegativity number, which will either be ionic or covalent. And that's in another podcast you can check up on or check your notes. This is, you're going to get this kind of as a cheat sheet. This is a periodic chart of ions, and this will tell all the ions and their charges, their oxidation numbers basically. And you'll need this to kind of determine how many charges each of the elements are carrying, so that you can figure out what the subscripts are going to be like. So let's do a couple of them. We have magnesium, and we have fluorine. And to kind of get an idea of what we have here, okay, if you take a look here, we have magnesium. It has a +2. Fluorine has a -1. So let's go ahead and go back. go forward actually. This had a +2. This had a -1. So we're going to just crisscross them. And this will have a 2. This will have a 1. So we have this Mg. Don't put a superscript of anything there. And then fluoride is now fluoride, like this. So it would be magnesium. Fluoride, I'm sorry, fluoride, IDE. So that's how you do that one. So let's take a look at going and doing the next one. We have, of course, aluminum and oxygen. So let's take a look at what those would look like. Aluminum is +3, so we have to remember that. And then oxygen, +2. So a +3 and a -2. So we'll go back to the, let's see, where are we? We're going back. There we go. Clear that off. So in this particular case, we have a +3, a -2, and we crisscross this way, crisscross that way. And so we get a 2, be the subscript for aluminum. For oxide, it would be the 3, so it equals aluminum. And it'll have subscript 2, oxygen, subscript 3, and it would be called aluminum oxide. And some people might call it aluminum 3 oxide. Some people will call alumina. It's a natural occurring compound or substance that you'll find in a variety of different rocks. And then they use it sometimes in industry for an abrasive. So let's do one more. And this one is boron. And we also have sulfur in this one. And so we're going to go back and we're going to check. All right, we have boron. Say right here, +3, and so let's go ahead and go back real quick. And that's sulfur, and sulfur is over here, -2. So we have a +3 and a -2. So let's go ahead and go back. Alright, this one is going to be +3, this is going to be -2. So we're going to crisscross them like this. So you get boron, subscript 2, and sulfur, subscript 3. And we get boron. And here's a tricky one. You'd think maybe you call it sulfuride, but it's just sulfide. Same with phosphorus. So that's how you would name that one. And we'll talk more about the naming altogether. So really, that's really all there is to it. You just have to keep your pluses and your minuses going in the right direction by this crisscross method. I hope that helped. And we'll see you in the lab to practice some of this. Thanks. Bye.